about you all, but I feel like the energy's just gone up 1,000 volts here since we started. Okay, I'd like to invite a very dear friend of mine, Tina Cox, up to introduce our speaker today. Come on up, Tina. And actually, both of us are going to introduce our speaker. Tina is a gal that I've known for quite some time. Back in 1998, I was working with the Probation and Parole Office, and I had this fellow getting out on parole, and it was he had committed a double homicide. Oh. And my job was to supervise him when he got out, and also part of my job was to contact family members of the victim to let them know that this person was back in the community, and to let them know to contact me should he have any contact with them, because in which case he was informed he would be, incarcerated immediately, because we want to, of course, protect the victims of the family members of the victim. So this is how I met Tina, and her daughter was one of the individuals murdered by this man, and so we go back a ways, don't we?
Way back.
And so she told me that she started just coming here a few weeks ago, and I told her about what we do here, and so she came to check it out, and she told me she loves this place. And she found out Joy Talley was speaking here, and she says, Bruce, Joy really helped me a whole lot when I was going through this terrible experience. And I thought and this is the reason I thought it would be so nice for her to share this story, is that Joy has helped thousands and thousands of people over the past 50 or 60 years, I guess, 1,000 years, helping people like Tina. And this is just one story. Joy didn't even remember her when she came in today. That's just an example of how many people you've helped, Joy. But go ahead, Tina.
Yes, when they were looking for my daughter and they couldn't find her, it went on for about 12 days. And I went out looking for her, and I noticed how big the world really is. And I was just sitting there one night, and I thought of Joy Talley. And I picked up the phone, and I said, my daughter's missing. And she says, well, Princess Anne comes to my mind. And my mind went, Princess Anne Park. She said, she will be found, but you will not find her. Said a policeman on a horse will find her, but she will be found. So when I told reporters about this, well, they did start sending the police over around Princess Anne. And it wasn't long after that I got a phone call. And it was a man on a motorcycle that had found my daughter. But Joy Talley told him exactly where to go to find her. And that's as close to me today as it was back in '85. I've never forgotten it. So she helped me a lot. And the reporters, when they came, they were so amazed that she knew exactly where to go and find my daughter. And for that, Joy, I thank you.
Thank you for your help. So, Joy, come on up.
It's been 60 years, it's only 50 years. I'm not that old.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so happy to be here. But, this has been a year like no other year. Have you ever felt if you didn't have bad luck, you'd never have any luck at all? Well, whatever could break down has broken down. And, there's times when I had felt like my brain took a train and left the station, because I certainly wasn't seeing things correctly. But I feel there's no gain without pain. And if you've noticed in your life, what you resist persist. And I really resisted. I got bent out of shape. My blood pressure was way off the wall. And I had just not felt good the whole year. And intellectually, I know that health is wealth. And we attract to us whatever lessons we need to learn. But I was blaming everything else except going within and finding out the root cause of my problem. And it came from nowhere. About I should tell you, I went to multitude doctors, they give you high blood pressure, whatever. And it treats the symptom, it doesn't get rid of the cause. Well, my father passed over in 1991. 3 or 4 weeks ago, he came knocking at my front door. And he had driven down from Canada, and there was 3 young boys in the car with him. And he said, we've come to sleep and eat for a week. And I said, I'm just not ready for this. I don't want to cook. And he said, that's too bad. We're coming in anyway. Well, the message I got was my father had an automobile accident when he was 83 years old. Had to stop working, and because he couldn't drive, he was a machinist and had his own machine company, and if you don't drive, you can't go to your clients. Anyway, his health went downhill. He ended up in like a nursing home. All of us kids, well, the rest of them had died. I was the only one living. And nobody was there to take care of him. And I never even knew he'd gone in there, so I never had the challenge, do I want to take him in my home or not? But, there are another Canadian here. But Canadians think Canada's the best country, they have the best milk, the best beef, they have the best of everything. He wouldn't come anyway. But the message I got was fear consumed me this year. And the acronym for fear is false expectations appearing real. When my mother was 66 years old, she died. And I forgot about this till my kids reminded me. When I turned 66, I went through the same thing, felt like I was having a heart attack. I was gonna die. Well, once we talked about it, I got over it. So it came to me, the 3 young boys, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, the mental, spiritual, physical body. And he was driving the car. In a dream, if you dream you're driving a car, you're in a situation you have control over. If someone else is driving it, you're in a situation you've lost control over it. Well, when he came, he was driving the car. Once I put the dots together, I realized that I had control over my own destiny. I had control over my health. And that I needed to give up my stinking thinking and get an attitude of gratitude. I'm on the road to recovery. It's such a great day to be alive. And it's just not that the medicine hasn't changed, nothing has changed except my mental attitude. I don't watch television at night. I'm listening to meditation tapes, relaxing. My energy's coming back. My blood pressure's coming down. So if I was giving advice to you all, it's get a divorce from yourself and permission to be happy. You are your own worst enemy. And I do feel, and by the way, during this period since I saw my dad, I've been medicating with food. Those ice cream bars and everything. Well, I've been eating them in abundance. And today I thought I'm confessing and I'm going to get over it. But But, you know, frustration and refrigeration sound similar. So when we get frustrated, we go to the refrigerator. And did you know the only place you're going to find success before work is in the dictionary? And if I'm going to be successful, I've got to get rid of my stinking thinking and concentrate. I wasn't concentrating on getting healthy. You know, I haven't been here in weeks or months or something because I was on my pity pot feeling sorry for myself. I'm so tired. But when I go to work, it's strange. I cannot feel good at home. I go to work and I'm full of energy. I'm full of enthusiasm. The day it's just wonderful. I've never in 50 years had a day I didn't want to go to work. I come home and I'm on my pity pot feeling sorry for myself. So now that my dad, I had real challenges when he was alive, but this experience about him coming and saying, I'm staying no matter what you want, told me I can keep my high blood pressure, I can keep my tiredness, or I can burn it up, let it go, and start anew. And so I'm talking about inner changes today, and they have to come, but we have to understand who's affecting us, who's the pain in the neck, who's stabbing you in the back. You know, your feet, your legs are your understanding. So whenever we hurt that, we get off our feet, look up to God, and check out our priorities. We're not going in the right direction. So by listening to your body and getting the message it's given you, I really believe we can heal ourselves. We're not saying don't go to the doctors. We're not saying don't eat healthy, don't medicate with ice cream bars. And look at it, you know, where the planets are just seems to affect us. Even though this is a year of changes for Capricorns, Aquarians, the 1st of July have started their new cycle till December 31st of next year. And I'm an Aquarius. My good buddy Richard is an Aquarius. And he sets me straight a lot of times. And one thing he tells me is you always talk too long and too much. So when you want me to pull the plug, just say, shut up. But I'm not through talking, so don't say it yet. You know, I read a lot of young people. So many of them have this attitude of entitlement. They want to start work at the present or at the highest age, at the ages. And I got to thinking, the only way you start at the top is if you dig ditches. And so, well, when you think about it, isn't it true? Yeah, so if you want to start at the top, dig ditches. But, you know, when we go to work, we're at our best energy level, we're feeling our best. Everybody at work sees us at the best part of our lives. Oh, by the way, I went to wash a load of wash today, and my wash machine went clunk. And so now I got to ask myself, what do I need to learn from this? Because it's obviously going to be a new washing machine. And this is just one of the challenges this year. So if you look at if other people here have had health challenges, work challenges, do you know how many people go to work and they have other people at work that are negative or angry or whatever? Earlier this year, I had the outside of my office painted and the inside, and on my outside doorways for years I've had these mirror tiles, and if somebody comes in with a bad spirit or negative energy or anything, the mirror tiles would take it away. It would leave when they left. And when they painted the outside, they took off the mirror tiles. This was a couple of months ago. I just got the message. That's how my brain took the train. And I was just slow to realize it. So Sandra, my youngest daughter, went out and bought the new tiles. And we got them back on the outside doorway. And she put them on my house. My washing machine still broke, but I do have the mirror tiles, so I'm on the right track. It's just stuff happens. And, but you know, once we put the tile back, when she put it on, you know, the energy at work has just been uplifted. My side door still doesn't work, but I'll get that done soon. But when you look at self, I feel, is our only problem. How we think determines how we act, and how we act determines how others react to us. This is why we want to go through life doing a checkup from the neck up every couple of months to see if you have hardening of the attitudes. It's easier to get stinking thinking than an attitude of gratitude. And believe me, this year I've had hardening of the attitudes. I've been hiding from people except when I go to work. And getting back to my dad, his dying, or having the accident at 83, I connected and thinking, gee, I'm not going to be able to work. And if I quit working, I'll die. That was the connection. And so I think he came to visit me, too, because I was sick, and to give me the inspiration and Richard's help. Isn't it awful when a man's smarter than you? It just breaks my heart. Yeah. And I mean, well, but you know, we're like a transmitter and receiver, and we just play off of each other. It's really very great, except I hate it when he's right. But I'm not going to give up the friendship. Thank you, God. And did you know, a good friend, no sex is better than marriage? I mean, you know, when you get older, you know, who needs, you know, men? You spell men, M-E-N. The first two letters spell me, and that's the story of men, me, me, me. When they get married, they want their mother to take over from where their mother left off. And they're always looking for the knight in shining armor. They want to be the knight in shining armor, but they want the woman to do all the work. So I'm staying single forever, but I'm going to stay alive. And so if any of you this year has been having emotional challenges, if you can go deeper and look at the root cause, I'm so glad it's August. I'm so glad I've connected the dots. And now I've chosen, and it's all a choice, I've chosen to be healthy, and I'm not going to binge out on ice cream bars anymore. And I'm going to stop hibernating, because it doesn't get you anywhere. Life is full of opportunities. And when we predict our own future. And if you look at yourself, I resisted getting well because I didn't want to face the truth, or I didn't want to connect the dots. And when I saw my father, I used to have resentment. And resentment is like taking poison while you're waiting for the other person to die. It totally diseases your body. And I noticed when he came this time for the visit, even though he said we're staying, I didn't resent it. I didn't have any bitterness. And I did let him in the house. Thank heavens I woke up and they weren't there. God is really good. Really great. But it helped me to have insight, and things, even though the washing machine broke, everything has been going good the last 30 days. And I got a sump pump under my house, so the water, all this rain, the water's being pumped out, and it's not costing $6,000 anymore. So isn't God good when you think about it? All these good things happen because of calamities or challenges. Problems weigh us down. Challenges motivate us. And it's better to see things as challenges. The greatest gift we can give our children is to teach them to love to work and to be independent. Dependency in life is slavery. Independency is freedom. My next door neighbor, since my husband died, the father has been cutting my grass. Now his 13-year-old son is taking it over and to earn money, and he's doing a great job of it, by the way. But he's moody, he's got anger issues, and he came over just last week for me to pay him. And you know his aura, so often I see him coming home and it's just shooting red, frustrated, and he's scowling. And so I asked him, I said, I feel you have anger issues. And he said, yes. And I said, if you ask yourself, how do you feel about reacting with anger? He said, not so good. He said, it actually makes me feel bad the rest of the day. And I said, did you know that you choose to be angry? You choose to mess up your day, and you can choose to do it differently. He's young, but he sat there, we talked 25 minutes, and he was very open and receptive. And he has free will, he can change. But yesterday, his mother was taking him to a swimming meet, he swims, and his aura red. He looked so unhappy. I planted the seed, and it's what he does with it that's going to determine, but obviously it didn't stick with him. And did you know stickability is 95% of ability? And if you look at the word live, you know, have you ever noticed when I talk, I'm all over the place? I never stay, but Richard says it all kind of comes together, so let's hope that's true. But live backwards spells evil. And what we want to do is live forward and not let the past control us. But with anger, I used to get frustrated with my dad and angry. And it was so, besides turning the corner health-wise when he came, I felt forgiveness is the key that unlocks the handcuffs to anger, resentment, bitterness, disappointment. And it's much better to have those handcuffs released than to keep those negative emotions stuck with us. And when I saw him that time, the last time, I felt that the handcuffs were unlocked. And I can love him and let him go now for the rest of his life. Seeing, a lot of times people come for readings and they have spirits in their aura. And sometimes the spirits are very insistent on talking, and sometimes not so much. When they're insistent on talking, I always bring it up. But if I feel they're just, I don't know why they're there when they don't want to talk, but then I talk to them. But they're here to help us, and I feel anybody, and a lot of children see spirits, and I feel we can all see them if we open up our mind. And in your head, you hear them talking to you. It's like a mental thought. And sometimes just if you have a question or something unresolved about somebody that has passed over. And I read this little girl, about 20 years old, and she was in love with this other little girl, and they were doing drugs. and the other little girl, 20 years old, committed suicide. She overdosed with heroin. And the one that came for the reading, she was just really, it had a great effect on her. And she did, the good news is she's decided to give up drugs. And, you know, with alcohol or drug addiction, you can sober up, get locked up or covered up. There aren't any other solutions. And if a person, it's normal for an alcoholic or a drug addict to drink or do drugs. That's what alcoholics do. So when a person wants a chemically addicted person not to do those things, they want them to live an abnormal life. So the one that wants them not to do it has a problem with alcohol, not the chemically addicted person, because they choose to do it, they want to do it, and they have to pay whatever consequences they get. And that can be liberating if you can see it from that point of view. And I was married to a recovered alcoholic who died on his 39th anniversary of sobriety. So I've been there and I've had the experience. Don't want to repeat it, but I have it. God is so good in my life. And I feel if you're ever in doubt about making a decision, 2 questions I ask is, would God approve, or do you want to read about it on the front page of the morning paper? When we get a yes to that, we can move forward without any fears, frustrations, or anxieties. So if you all review this year, and if it's been challenging like it has been for so many people, that and I really feel there's no such thing as bad luck or good luck. We create our own luck sometimes, knowingly or unknowingly. And, you know, if you're planning a picnic today and it rains, is the rain negative or is your reaction to it? So it's not what happens to us that's so important, but how we react to it. And I'm confident that I'm going to get a handle on my blood pressure and just go with the flow instead of going against it. When I was growing up, there was this song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Not your neighbors, not your family, but row your own boat. And if you row it against the tide, you're going to be in big trouble. And just living in our life with God as our guiding light, things get so much simpler. And it's challenging for people that have been working on inner changes to see a 13-year-old neighbor having these issues. And unless by the time he gets to high school and college, you know, it's going to really affect him in everything unless he gives up his stinking thinking and gets an attitude of gratitude. And hopefully we'll talk more and more, because he's going to cut my grass, and because I do pay him, I will talk to him and I'll sock it to him. And hopefully he'll keep having the open mind. So next year is 2015 is a year of changes for Aquarius. So July of next year, Pisces starts in their year of changes, if there's any Pisces here. And so Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio are your 3 water signs. When you have a year of changes, it affects the other water signs, like Gemini and Libra and Aquarius are all air signs. So if there's any Gemini or Libras, this coming year and a half will be years of changes for you as well. Change doesn't mean loss, it just means something different. If you welcome a change, you call it variety, you enjoy it. If you resist a change, you call it tragedy and you suffer. It's just how we receive it. And believe me, my stinking thinking this year and not getting the spiritual messages only prolonged my healing. And now I'm in the process. So, round of applause for me. I'm so happy. Yeah, but we want all of you to have a healing, because who wants to be, well, you know, parents, sometimes we pick our own script in life. And sometimes people are Angry Annie or the male version, or Bitter Betty, or Sassy Sally, or you can be the Red Cross rescue worker. You can be a victim, and if you choose the role of a victim, you're victimized. If you choose the role of a martyr, you'll be crucified. So we always attract to us the people that we need in our lives to teach us the lessons we need to learn. Do you know how many people get married 3 or 4 times and keep repeating the same pattern? You know, if they don't love themselves and learn how to ask for what they want, they keep getting dumped on. And so if you look at the people that affect your life the most, and when parents keep giving to their children, protecting them, and encouraging their dependency, it's because the parent needs to feel needed. But they're crippling the child. The greatest gift we can give our children is to teach them to love to work and to be independent. And my dad had so many financial issues, but it took me years and years to realize, because I resented how horrible it was. But he taught me what not to do. He taught me how to have a better marriage, and how to not live up to my income, but live under my income and don't owe money. And until we say I'm fully responsible for my unhappiness, only then can we say I'm fully responsible for my happiness. I'm trying to think about what I was going to talk about today. You know, my daughter says, my oldest daughter, she said, well, you know, you could write things down, points that you want to hit on. And I thought, gee, that sounds so problematic. It's not, you know, that just sounded difficult. And so, is there anything you want to know about that I haven't covered? Because I can certainly talk about that.
2015.
Pardon?
2015.
Are you talking about personally or financially, or?
Just next year, I'm a Pisces.
Pardon?
I said just next year, I'm a Pisces.
Oh, you're a Pisces. Oh, yeah, you're starting in summer, yeah. Well, actually, you're already starting on a better journey. Haven't you noticed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, in your past, it shows that you've been the prince and the frog. And when you were the prince, you could charm the birds off the tree. And so you've consequently, have you ever asked yourself, why are you attracted to the women you're attracted to?
I am now.
Oh. That's a good, honest answer. So you like the challenges of keep repeating the pattern.
No.
If you failed to plan, wouldn't it mean you plan to fail?
I plan.
Oh. Well, do you figure out your input in the relationship? It takes, getting married is easy, being married isn't easy. The 3 sides is his side, her side, and the truth. So people who make a decision to get married get divorced. People that make a commitment to marriage stay married. When you get married, the most important question is, can you love this person, be happy with them exactly as they are? And you just showed a couple of broken wedding rings. And so since the last one, You've been attracted to women you won't marry as a security blanket against getting married. So you're successful in failing to marry. Did you hear the word successful? It was in there, right. But next year, I just feel that you're opening yourself up to new challenges. Career, I just see just kind of blossoming, and a new female coming into your life.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Did anybody else have a challenge? Yes?
I just wanted to know how, when you first started getting communication, or were you a child, like your intuition or your abilities?
Yeah, I've said this here before. I was raised in London, Ontario, and there were psychics on both sides of my family. And when we were kids, you know, they had the loose tea leaves back then, and we drank a lot of tea. And there was a strainer that catches the tea leaves if you don't want them read. So my sister, I had a brother, but he never read the tea leaves. But my mother just had us pass the teacup around, and we all read it. And I don't remember not ever doing it. And then I came to the United, I don't know, you know, when my kids were small, they went to cook school, and they had a carnival raising money, and I started doing readings. And I was going to Methodist church on 19th Street at that time, and they had a bazaar in October. And I started, and then people in '62 knocked at my door, and I started reading them. And I read them in my home. My kids didn't like this. Till the house I met a training came, the man died, and it came up for sale, and I put a contract on it the day. And so I've been doing it there since 1967. So that's how, so it's just, I feel a lot of people can talk to spirits and do intuition if they're encouraged and not discouraged. I read a lot of parents, and they talk about their children seeing spirits and sometimes getting scared. And I tell them, if you can wear a cross, you know, put a cross up on the walls, that keeps away the bad spirits. And ask the spirits if you've come in the name of the Christ, and to identify yourself. That can encourage them, and then they can keep it throughout their lifetime. Now, a lot of people do this, is it called dowsing, where they have a, yeah, I'm not big on dowsing, but if it works for you, it's great. I don't think anything's, well, Ouija boards I think are very dangerous because they can attract a lot of bad spirits. And Richard said this astrologist has predicted on August the 25th there's going to be massive changes in the world. And I really don't go into worldly things. I do mostly just on person to person. But if we live on fear financially, then we're going to attract disaster. And if we work hard and manage our money, you know, God will take care of us, is my belief system. And yes?
What do you see for Leo?
Leos? Well, Leos are going through challenges right now, career-wise. If you work, no, you're not, okay. Well, so many Leos are. But, you know, and change doesn't mean loss, it just means something different. But you have a lot of boxes standing over there, so somebody close to you is moving?
I'm wondering if next April if they're going to renew my lease or not. And I have the fear that they're going to raise the rent where I can't afford it.
Well, maybe you should start packing, because you certainly do have packed boxes standing there.
I have a room that's full of stuff that I need to get tend to.
Oh, okay.
So
when you clean drawers and closets, it forms a vacuum and attracts new prosperity. Did you know that? And so maybe that would, getting rid of the stuff you're not using, The more possessions we possess, the more we become a slave. As long as you own an animal, you're never free.
Yeah, well, it's in the box, yeah, there's some valuable stuff in the box.
Oh, valuable? Sell it. Cash it in. Are you going to use the stuff?
No, it's a collection.
Oh, you don't want to part with it?
I'm ready to now. It was my dad's button collection. It's the antique buttons. And I'm emotionally, I think I can do it.
Yeah, there's a saying, when the pupil's ready, the teacher will appear. And Richard never wants me to go over, and I did look at the clock. Thank you very much, Richard. And so I guess it's been a pleasure talking. Thank you.